I have let the Lego and comics pile up here for you guys, so this is going to be a long haul here, so I hope you are tuned in. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey guys, welcome into another haul video here, haul video number 148. I'm Mandak, so welcome into another video, guys. Hope you are having a great day, great week, great month, great year, possibly. Yeah, anyways, guys, welcome into this haul here. So this is pretty long overdue, to be honest. I got a lot of stuff here to cover. So we'll kind of go through what all that is, but yeah, a lot of Lego purchases, a lot of comic purchases. And again, this is kind of collecting probably around a month's worth of stuff. So again, I apologize. It kind of just adds up to this point because I just, I've been spending a lot less on stuff. So it just doesn't get to a point enough for me where I see it worth doing a haul, and then I realize I get a lot of stuff and I'm like, oh crap, I probably should do one now. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So yeah, that's the approach there. But anyways, we'll go ahead and get into this stuff here. No trading cards for this haul, unfortunately, but definitely plenty to fill out this video here. So we'll go ahead and get into it. I did realize I do have some stuff in another room that I have to go grab real quick for this haul, so I will go do that first, and then I will go into each section here. But let's go ahead and get started, as always, with the comics. Alright guys, so thanks again for watching these videos and for tuning into this section of the video here. So we'll go ahead and get into the comic book section here. But first off, I do want to talk about what I've been reading this month, which is a lot. I did get a big chunk of reading done this last month or so. So first off, I did start with the classic X-Men stuff. I do think I talked about those epic collections that I've been reading in my previous haul. So I did go ahead and finish the first 3 X-Men epic collections. So I think the last time I was finishing up Lonely Are the Hunted, and I also finished up the Sentinels Live epic collection, which had the Neil Adams art and obviously Roy Thomas and a little bit of Steranko in there. Definitely my favorite of the 3 that I've read from the early era there. So that was really that was a real treat to read, and I really enjoyed going through that era of X-Men. I definitely think it was worth revisiting. For anyone who's thinking about delving into that era, I definitely would say the last epic is probably worth your time. The first 2, they have some notable appearances of major characters, but aside from that, some of the storytelling is pretty bleh. So there's that. And then I kind of jumped forward and read the X-Men Classic Omnibus. So recently finished that. That book I flew through. I think I read that in less than a week, and it was over 1,000 pages. Now granted, the format of that book, for anyone who's not familiar, the X-Men Classic stuff is kind of additional backup stories and additional plot points that were basically reprinted in this classic X-Men line, I guess in like the mid 80s into the 90s possibly, from the original like Claremont, Cockrum, Byrne era of X-Men. So I wanted to go back and revisit it. Some of the backup stories were pretty good. I really enjoyed reading those, but yeah, it was really nice just to revisit that whole era of X-Men. The first time I read that era was at this point like 6-7 years ago for me, so it definitely is nice to revisit that and enjoy it. So finish that up. I did read some other Marvel Omnibus as well. I read the Captain Marvel Omnibus by Kelly Thompson, which is right there, or there, yeah, right there. So I read that, and then I also did backtrack a little bit, and I did read the Captain Marvel omnibus. As I mentioned in my last video, or maybe a couple videos before that, I did read the Captain Marvel Masterwork, Volume 1, and then I upgraded to this omnibus just so I can read the entire story. I got to see how Yarnrog was killed and how Una passed away. So it helped kind of fill out that era of X-Men for me. So I really enjoyed watching that or reading that. Obviously, I don't know why I said X-Men. I meant to say Marvel. So it's interesting though. There is a second volume, or there's a volume 1 like on the omnibus. So I'm curious if they're gonna make a second one. I probably should have checked this before I came on the air here and talked about it, but I'm curious how long the first volume of Captain Marvel ran. I don't think it ran pretty long, you know, so there's that. Some other smaller stuff that I read Carnage USA, which I found pretty interesting. It's basically Carnage taking over a small town and basically holding them hostage. So that was an interesting story there. Kind of included a bunch of top tier Marvel characters like Spider-Man, Thing, Captain America, stuff like that. So that was fun. Also read Daredevil Noir, which kind of explains the interaction that Matt Murdock has with the person who killed his father, which I guess was part of a gang or something. I thought it was pretty good. You know, it definitely flowed pretty fast. I read that book actually in one session at the gym. So my fiance and I, we actually go to the gym together, and I bring smaller trades with me to read while I'm walking on the treadmill. So I've been able to get a lot of reading done that way. So that's kind of where I did that reading there. Also read Fury by Garth Ennis. So I know I showed it off. I think I bought that back in like June or July of this year, and picked that up and read that. That is a pretty graphic book. It is a Max title for anyone who's curious. But I thought it was pretty enjoyable. Essentially, it was a story about one of Fury's like war companions or acquaintances who basically took over this like island, and then Fury has to go there to basically destroy this guy before the rest of the United States gets involved and starts a third world war or whatever. And there's even a scene where Fury rips out this guy's like body parts and like strangles him with it. So that was pretty grotesque, but for anyone who's obviously read Garth Ennis's Punisher, it shouldn't be much of a surprise there for that. So that was fun there. And then transitioning, I did read a little couple or a image series while I was kind of going through the X-Men classic stuff, and that image series was Gideon Falls by Kieran Gillen, and I think Antonio Sorrentino, I think. I'm sorry if Sorrentino, I think it is. I apologize if I mispronounced or misnamed the name, I guess. But yeah, essentially this story is about a town called Gideon Falls that is like haunted by this like black barn, and there's like this whole upside down, and like there's time travel involved. It was really fun. If you're if you're a fan of Jeff Lemire, I think you're really gonna like this. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Lemire, as we'll see here in this haul today. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was definitely a page turner. I finished the whole series within a matter of days, 27 issues across 6 trades, or I think 2 hardcovers. So whichever you prefer. I'm assuming it might get a compendium at some point if it doesn't have one already. But definitely some good timing. I did not know enough about it going into it to know that it was like a horror story. So I thought it was kind of appropriate that I was reading it around like late September, early October, as we're getting into spooky season here. So that was fun. That was fun to go through that. But yeah, that was kind of everything I've read. And currently, I have started the Starman series by James Robinson. Yeah, I am really, really enjoying that. I will say it's pretty dense. at least in some issues, it's a little dense. Like, it takes me at least 15-20 minutes sometimes to read the issues. Um, give or take, I guess is what it is. But I'm enjoying it. It's a really cool series. It's a fresh take on a character. I obviously am going into it with absolutely no background or context to compare it to. But the book so far, I'm on issue 3. The book so far does a pretty good job of explaining everything and kind of setting the stage for what you're going to experience. So I do got to give them credit for that. But really enjoying that so far. I do have both of them, and I have both compendiums, so I intend to kind of read through those at my leisure here. I'm kind of reading bigger books here towards the end of the year because I'm kind of gearing up for my readathon of Captain America at the beginning of next year. So that's coming there shortly. And also kind of, as well with my Starman stuff, I'm currently reading also Homesick Pilots, which I started reading on the Crackle Comics podcast back with Vince and Mike like years ago, and dropped off the book after a couple issues, but ended up collecting what turned out to be the entire series. The series only ran for 15 issues, so I was looking at my shelf and I realized I had the 3 trades, and I was like, you know what, let's go ahead and just read this series and knock it out. Probably one of the shortest Image series that I own here to date, aside from maybe Royal City, which I don't know if Royal City is concluded. I think it's still ongoing or it's on hiatus. I think it might be just because of the way it ended, but yeah, so that's kind of where we stand here now with this. So that's all of my reading. I know it's a 10-minute intro. I'm gonna try this time, and if I don't do it, I apologize, but I'm gonna try this time to include like images of like the book covers of like each thing that I'm talking about, just to kind of shake it up a little bit, make it more entertaining to look at, I guess. I might just put them like in separate corners of this video head here, but I do have a list here that I went by to kind of explain what I read, so hopefully I can use that list to pull those covers and use them for stuff. So there's that. But yeah, so I have my haul here. I'll go through it here. A bunch of stuff to look at. So just to kind of explain where I got all this stuff from, I got a couple of things from Target. They had a coupon for $15 off a $75 purchase of books a couple weeks ago, which I ended up picking something up for. I got some other stuff through Target. There was another sale. I think it was like 20% off all books, so I ended up doing that too. I was looking for like stuff that was already discounted and then discount even more to get kind of below that IST price. Made an IST order, a couple of them actually, which actually just came this week, so I was pretty good timing there. And I also did go to Second and Charles out in Harrisburg with my fiance. Went out there to see my grandparents last weekend, so on the way back we drove out there, stopped in real quick, and came on home. So yeah, we'll go through it here. Most of it is Marvel, so I guess it's either a lot of Marvel or a lot of Image with me, so we'll go through that here. But starting off our list, this was the thumbnail for this video, and that is the Avengers War Across Time miniseries here. This collects issues 1 through 5 of the series, written by Paul Levitz, art by Alan Davis, and Rochelle Rosenberg, I believe, might be the colorist, possibly. But yeah, I got this on a pretty good sale on IST. I think this was being sold for like $6 or something, so I jumped on it. I thought that was a pretty good price for a nice little trade like this. But this immediately jumped out to me just from the creative team, especially Alan Davis. I think it's always nice to see his art. But this is very reminiscent of like early Kang appearances in like the Silver Age for the Avengers, which obviously I've read like, wow, at this point, again, like I said, about 6 years ago at this point is when I first read those Avengers issues, like going back to like, again, #1 and onward. But yeah, I think this is a nice, fun, creative way to kind of come back to it. I'm not too sure about what the storyline is, but obviously they're kind of doing it here to kind of promote Kang, I guess, in some ways, but I just love to see like all the characters in like their classic like Silver Age costumes. You know, you got Thor with his, you know, headdress, and you got Giant Man and Iron Man in the classic armor. So I think this is gonna be a fun little read here to go through, you know, so I'm excited to see what this is about. So we'll give this a read at some point. All right, next book I got here, another Avengers book, and that is The Avengers by Jason Aaron, Volume 7, The Age of Khonshu. This collects issues 31 through 38 of the 2018 Avengers series. So paid a little bit more for this, and just because for some reason this book is really hard to find for a decent price online. But obviously the highlight with this book is the, I guess, guest appearance of Moon Knight. I don't know if he is like a main character in this book or if he's just like I said, a guest character. But you know, I'm pretty close to finishing up collecting all the trades here. I think I just need like volume 8 and 9, I think. I can't tell from down here, but yeah, I think this is gonna be fun to read. And obviously, like I said, I'm just trying to collect the series in paperback, and I've been pretty good at collecting them for a decent price. I haven't broken the bank on them, which is always good. Something tells me that once I finish collecting them all in trade, they're gonna announce an omnibus for the series, and I'm gonna be like, why don't I just wait for the omnibus? Maybe I should start doing that more for some of these series. But what are you gonna do, right? So, all right. Next two books here I bought were for a series that I was super on the fence on with collecting, because part of me just wanted to wait and see if they were gonna make an oversized hardcover for this book. But with the sales and the discounts on Target, I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead, bite the bullet, pay maybe a little bit more for this to have it in paperback and just deal with it. Also, for uniformity's sake, on my shelf, it probably makes more sense just to have in paperback. And that is the last two volumes here of Cantwell's Iron Man. So, believe it or not, I have not read these. I did jump off the book pretty early. I think I wasn't following the series for a little bit there, but I was really enjoying his writing. I thought it was a really good breath of fresh air after the abomination that was the Tony Stark Iron Man stuff by Dan Slott. I mean, that era was just very frustrating, and obviously it concluded with a really awful events tie-in series thing, whatever you want to call it, that was Iron Man 2020. It was just really bad, and I'm just really happy that my boy is back to good writing and good art. You know, between this and now Jerry Duggan's run, I have a lot of hope that this is a turnaround for the character. So you can see here, we'll show these two volumes here. So this is volume 3, Books of Korvac 3. This collects issues 12 through 19 of the series, and I do love the idea of having Michael Korvac be the main villain in this story. I thought that was pretty clever, just kind of picking him up, dusting him off, and using him as a villain. He's a very powerful villain, so it's really cool to see that. But I also really love the Alex Ross covers. Can't go wrong there. So definitely some shelf appeal there, if you will, for anyone who's curious about picking it up. Last volume here for his series was issues 20 through 25 here, and this is Source Control, and you can see here Patsy Walker, Hellcat, being held by Iron Man. Also really enjoy that dynamic that those two have. I thought that's a really cool take on the two of them as characters, especially considering all the baggage that Patsy Walker has dealt with in the comics world. I could obviously sit here and spend a lot of time talking about it, but it just wouldn't make any sense. Nor do I probably know every single detail, but yeah, so really fun. That's probably not a great thing to show there, but this might be a little better. So yeah, I'm really hyped to read this, and now there's really nothing stopping me from continuing on my Iron Man readathon. I think either last haul or the haul before that, I did show that I bought the infamous Iron Man like thick paperback there, so that was kind of like the last chunk I was looking for, and now I can kind of continue my Bendis readathon of Iron Man, and then, go through the slog that is Tony Stark, Iron Man, and get to this stuff here. So eventually, sooner than later, I'll probably be at 100% read for my Iron Man stuff, which will be nice. So, and it's funny because I think about like epic collections that I'm on the lookout for, and really we're only waiting on a couple more for like the later era of Iron Man. One recently came out, but it double dipped so hard with some other books that I didn't see. I think it completely double dipped with other stuff I have, so I was like, there's no reason for me to buy this. So yeah, there's that. But anyways, next book I got here was Moon Knight Volume 2 by Jed MacKay. This collects issues 7 through 12, as well as Devil's Reign Moon Knight. So I know I talked about this during my Baltimore Comic-Con haul. I did pick up the first volume after my friend Nick, who really likes Moon Knight, basically placed it in my hands and told me to get it. And obviously now I am playing the catch-up game with this, but did pick this one up because I did see this for a pretty decent sale on IST. Again, I think I got this for around $6, which, for a standard Marvel paperback, that's a pretty good deal. So I went and grabbed that. So I would say I've probably read about half of my Moon Knight collection. There's one epic collection that I need to finish, and that is Butcher's Moon. I think there's going to be more after that as well, but that's one I haven't read yet. And then I also haven't read Moon Knight Legacy, as well as this series. So a little bit of stuff to catch up on. I'm hoping that eventually we'll get a second season of Moon Knight with Oscar Isaac. I really enjoyed that first season. Kind of ran under the radar. It was kind of a little bit of a dark horse in some ways, but I really enjoyed it. Obviously Moon Knight was kind of that first character that I read all of the material for before the show came out, and that's kind of what kicked off this whole idea for me to like read books that coincide with movie and show releases for Marvel. So I always have that like as a special place in my heart. It was I definitely found more of an appreciation for that show after reading the source material and being like, oh, that's that person and that's that person, and oh, this is this plot point, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that was kind of the nerd in me coming out, but really cool to pick that up for a decent price. All right, next book I got here was Daredevil Epic Collection Into the Fire. This collects issues 312 through 318 of Daredevil, as well as annual number 9, Daredevil Black Widow Arbitoire, and Daredevil The Man Without Fear numbers 1 through 5, which is obviously one of the covers that's shown here. The cover that's shown here for this collection is from the Man Without Fear miniseries by Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. So yeah, you're probably asking yourself, well, Dan, don't you have Man Without Fear? So I did, and I had one of my ex-girlfriends borrow it to read, and we broke up, and I never saw that book again. Nor did I go out of my way to ask my ex-girlfriend to give me that book back, because yeah, I didn't want anything to do with her. So there's that. But yeah, so I decided, I'm like, well, perfect, this epic collection came out, and this miniseries is in here, so I might as well just buy this. And I'll also have, the other reason why I bought this too was to also continue my readathon of Daredevil here in like the 80s and 90s. So obviously my plan is to probably get to reading all this once the new Daredevil show comes out, which I don't think will be until 2024 maybe, which is, again, coming up here really soon, or maybe 2025. I'm not too sure, but yeah, this is just some nice classic stuff here. Obviously you have, the thing that steals the show here is Man Without Fear, and for a second I was wondering why they didn't call it why they didn't decide to call it Man Without Fear, but I guess that would make it too confusing to like have this and also have the just regular paperback that's also called Man Without Fear. So I totally understand why they went with Into the Fire instead. But yeah, really thick paperback here. Nice Daredevil book. Again, this is volume 17 of the Epic Collection line for Daredevil, for anyone who's curious about numbering and stuff like that. But yeah, found that actually on a slight bigger discount at IST one day, and I just pulled the trigger and bought it. I think it was going for, yeah, like I think, let me see what the cover price is on this. Yeah, I mean, cover price on this was $50, and I was like, no way. Even with like the 38% off on IST, I think it would have worked out to like $30.99 or something. Like, it was still astronomically expensive for this book, and I'm like, no, I'm not paying $30 for this book. I'll wait for like a Target sale or something. And sure enough, I saw it drop to like $19.99, and I was like, you know what? Let me jump on that. I mean, that is one tip of advice I will give people out there for anyone who's looking on IST for discounts. I know a lot of my friends now order through DCBS, so you get like a flat discount right there, but I just find that I end up spending more on that stuff anyway, just because I don't have enough to fill out my order to justify the shipping cost for DCBS. But one thing I will tell you is on IST, like if you wait a little bit after release, sometimes certain Epic collections or other books get discounted either through damage sales, or for some reason, I guess the book just isn't selling well and they'll discount it for like a certain amount of time. So I would definitely just keep track of that. Like if there's a certain book you want on IST, I would just, you know, check that kind of on a semi-routine basis, maybe once a week or twice a week. So that's usually what I do. So, all right. Next book I got here was a book that I ordered with my Target order, and this is another creative group that I just essentially have bought everything for, and I think you guys can already guess what that is, and that is Night Fever here by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. So nice standard size hardcover here from Image. I mean, what else can I say at this point about these two? I mean, everything they make is essentially gold in the comics world, and I'm sure this will not be any different from that. So I'm really excited to read this. I think I'm pretty much all caught up on my Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips stuff. I don't think there's anything in my collection that I haven't read from them. Most recently, I've read all the Reckless books and the Sleeper Omnibus, so this is kind of that last, I wouldn't say last, but this is the most recent piece of their work that I didn't have yet, and just decided to grab for a pretty decent price, I would say. So, nice. They're the one creative group that I'm willing to spend probably more than average for than any other, I feel like. So there's that. Next book I got here, kind of keeping in with the theme of what I've been reading this recently here. I went ahead and picked this book up, and that is Ghosted by Williamson, or James Williamson. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's not James. It's Josh Williamson. I take that back. Actually, this is someone completely different, so I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. So James Robinson, Joshua Williamson. Got it. There's a lot of creative writers out. There's a lot of creators out there, and I'm sorry I get them mixed up. But yeah, Joshua Williamson. I did read, I think, can't remember what else I've read from him. I want to say there's like a Black Widow series, or there's something else that he read or he wrote that I ended up reading. But yeah, went ahead and picked this up. This collects issues 1 through 20 of Ghosted. And it's kind of like your classic horror series, you know, pretty good art going on here. I will say one thing about this book that I've noticed is that it's pretty tight binding. So that's a little bit unfortunate. You do get a little bit of gutter loss, but the way that these panels are drawn and stuff, there's really not a lot of stuff you're going to miss out on, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, I picked this up for a really decent price. Cover price on this was $30, and on IST it was around like 17. So I jumped on that. I thought it was a really good deal. I mean, for 20 issues, $17, almost 450 pages. I mean, image trades are usually way cheaper than what you would find from Marvel. I mean, you know, comparing this to this, I mean, they're essentially the same length of book, right? They're both about 400 some pages, 450 some pages, and this is cover price $20 more. So, I mean, you know, and on top of this, you're supporting the creators directly here with this book. So, um, I just wanted to pick this up. This is kind of a blind purchase for me, but just flipping through this, I think this is going to be a treat. Might end up pushing this up a little bit further just because it's, again, spooky, you know, kind of horror comics type of stuff, but maybe I'll just push it to next year and read it around that time. But either way, I'm really excited to read this at some point. So there's that. All right, and then the next book I got here was a book that I was looking at Second and Charles. So I did talk about, I think I picked up that Avengers Jason Aaron book at Second and Charles. And then I was kind of looking through everything else, looking through the DC stuff, independent stuff. Didn't really see anything that I really piqued my interest. And then as I was going through like this last shelf, which kind of had like a bunch of like independent work stuff and everything, saw this and obviously honed in on the name of this artist and writer who, again, I've talked about before, Jeff Lemire. And I realized I didn't have this book, and this book is Roughneck by Jeff Lemire. So really, really cool find here. This is just one of the couple things that I have not read from Jeff Lemire yet. And this is also illustrated by him. So obviously if you've read Sweet Tooth or Essex County, you'll be very familiar with his art style. But yeah, wanted to pick this up. As I said before, I'm a huge Jeff Lemire fan. It's funny because it all started with his work with, I can't remember if I read the Hawkeye stuff first or I read Essex County, but I definitely read those two very close together. But I do remember Essex County like really sticking with me, like as a book that I really enjoyed reading. And I just wanted to find more stuff like that. And, you know, it was really cool to pick this up. And, you know, I guess the one thing about Jeff Lemire's work is that it's very down to earth. It's very realistic, very grounded. So like, you know, it's relatable, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So really, really fun to pick this up. Again, I couldn't really tell you what this is about, but I'm sure going to read it and find out. So there's that. Really, really fun pickup there. Definitely something I wasn't on the hunt for, but really happy I found it. All right, so sticking with the theme of Jeff Lemire, another book I picked up from Target for that sale was Maze Book by Jeff Lemire. So again, don't really know too much about this. This was published by Dark Horse. I did see this at a store a while back, and I did pass on it just because it was full price of $30, and I think I ended up spending like, you know, with all the coupons and discounts, I think I ended up spending like half of that for this. So I thought that was a really good deal for a nice big paperback like this. But yeah, this collects issues 1 through 6 of the series, which I think is essentially the entire series. But again, written and drawn by Jeff Lemire, which again, I usually prefer that. I think his art's pretty good. It's definitely rough, so if you're not into that type of stuff, it might not be the book for you, but really cool to grab that to the collection. I might need to just dedicate a shelf of this room to my Jeff Lemire stuff, possibly. We'll see. But yeah, there's that. So this is a long video, but I have 2 more books here to show, so I'll show those here real quick. So we have 2 omnibus here to finish up our haul here for today. This next one, again, was one that I didn't have too much on my radar, but I've just been hearing so much good stuff about this series, you know, from podcasts and from my friends and from, you know, just other media that I've been looking at when it comes to comics, that I decided to break down and spend the money on this. You know, again, I got this for a cheaper price when all was said and done with compared to IST. And that book is Animal Man by Grant Morrison. So this is part of DC, but I don't know if this is part of Vertigo. I don't think it was. But yeah, this is, like, again, like I said, another character just like Starman that I just have not read anything of. I don't have any background knowledge of really, but I know that this book is good. It's funny. I do watch a lot of Near Mint Condition, and I love when he does the kind of just paging through the book, because for someone like myself who maybe not be familiar with the artist or the writer, it's nice to kind of see it flip through the book to see, like, okay, what am I signing up for, or what can I expect from this book? And it looks like a really interesting book. I've heard it's very emotional and down to earth and enjoyable. So I'm definitely gonna get this to read, and I'm really excited to jump into this whenever that time comes. So really fun to get this omnibus, and this is pretty decent price here. I mean, cover price on this was $100. I think I ended up spending like maybe like 50 some bucks for this, so I got it for almost half off, so can't really complain too much there for that. So there's that. And then the last book I got here is a series that I've been slowly collecting, and not because of my own like hesitation or what have you. It's just been the way that Marvel has been releasing these books, and for obvious reasons, right? I mean, it's kind of hard to, there's a lot of books that come out from Marvel, so it's kind of hard to put all these on the schedule at the same time, but ended up picking up the Captain America omnibus, The Trial of Captain America. So for anyone who's keeping track of these books or wondering for yourself, this is the 4th omnibus of Ed Brubaker's material. So the first one is obviously just called Captain America. The second one is The Death of Captain America. Third one is Captain America Lives. And then now we have the Trial of Captain America. I can't remember what the last one is called, but there is one more left. And yeah, so really excited for that. But this is awesome. This collects issues 602 through 619 of Captain America, as well as 615.1. Steve Rogers, Super Soldier numbers 1 through 4. Captain America, Who Will Wield the Shield, number 1. Say that 10 times fast. And then Captain America, the 2011 series from numbers 1 through 10. So yeah, with this, I realized there was some double dipping I had. So I did pick up a while ago at like a shop for like $5 the Super Soldier miniseries here. So I'm going to be selling that to Second Charles, or maybe to someone here who's interested in that. Definitely hit me up. But yeah, went ahead and picked this up for a decent price. Again, cover price of this was $100, which I think is a pretty good deal for this omnibus, to be honest. But I got it for like $54, so can't beat that price. So, and this shipped pretty quick. I ordered this on Tuesday and I got it on, I want to say Thursday. Like FedEx, IST, please keep using FedEx because they are fast. So there's that. And 36 minutes later, pretty much, that is my comic haul. So if you stayed until the end here, I appreciate you doing that. But yeah, that is my comic haul. A lot of good stuff. I'm kind of scared to find out where I'm going to put this stuff in my collection, because some of these shelves are getting really full and I got to find a spot for them. So wish me luck there. But otherwise, here, let's go ahead and get into the Lego section here for this haul. All right, guys, so thanks again for tuning in to this haul. We'll go ahead and get into the Lego section here. So a lot of stuff here. I'll kind of explain where I got everything as I go through it. But yeah, I do also wanted to start this haul by saying that I did go to Brickfest in Oaks, Pennsylvania today with my fiance. So we went over there. And this was the same Lego convention I went to this time last year, which was really fun. I did pick up a lot of stuff at that convention, and I had a lot of fun with that as well. Excuse me. But yeah, unfortunately this year it was definitely a lot worse than last year. First off, just getting into the place was a pain in the butt. It took us about 20 minutes to get into the convention, just because the whole check-in process was just really backed up and just really inefficient with getting people in. And then once we did get in, we both realized that there was absolutely no third-party vendors in that convention. We walked through the entire floor, couldn't find a single one. The only people that were selling things was the official Brickfest store, which essentially was selling Lego at full price. I did get some stuff that I'll show here that was that isn't really easy to find here in the United States that I picked up for, I would say, a decent price. But other than that, it was a big disappointment. And I felt bad because, my fiance spent, a good amount of money on the tickets, just to find out that there really wasn't much for us to do. I would say if we had kids, it probably would be a little bit more fun just because there'd be more activities to do and stuff like that. But, we made the best of it. I mean, we hung around there for about an hour or so. We had to leave early anyway because we had something else we had to go do. But I thought it was still pretty fun to take a look at some stuff there and just to see other people enjoying the same hobbies that I do. We went by ourselves, so I didn't meet up with anybody that I knew. But yeah, so it is what it is. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be going back next year just because of the experience we had this year. And again, it's nobody's fault. It's not mine. It's not my fiance's. It's just the nature of what it is, right? So, that's what it is. But I do want to show kind of what I picked up from there first. So I did get a VIP badge. So, my fiance did buy, this is kind of like an early birthday gift for me too, because my birthday is next week. But she did pick up, she did give me a VIP pass. So I did get this nice little VIP lanyard here that I could show and actually put next to the one I got from last year. So that's really fun. Really cool to see that. The three things that I did pick up were these like European poly bags that are hard to find here in the United States. I wouldn't say they're impossible to find, but you can't just go to like a Lego store or Target or Walmart and buy them. Like you have to go online and look them up and buy them. So I went ahead and picked up a couple. First one here being the Razor Crest, which I thought was a nice little build there. I might do a little thing that might be funny and put this next to my play scale version of this. Next thing I got here as well, which I thought was a really cool pickup here, was the Clone Turbo Tank. So unfortunately, I don't have any turbo tanks in my collection. I couldn't afford the ones that came out. Like I think the last one that came out was like 2016, I want to say, or something, 2017 maybe. I couldn't afford that one obviously, but yeah, so went ahead and picked this one up. I thought that's kind of cool to have that. So and all of these I did buy two versions, or two copies of, I guess if you will. One to keep sealed and one to open here and build. I do like collecting and building all of the like mini poly bags for Star Wars. I'm very tempted to start breaking down all the other like constructed poly bags that I've made of other sets, just because I don't really have much interest in storing them. But yeah, there's that. Next one I grabbed here was another poly bag that was that is Lego DC, and that is the Batmobile here. So I have a bunch of Batmobile poly bags that I've built over years. I mean, the most recent one, I think, going back to like the 2022 movie that came out with Robert Pattinson, they made a poly bag for that. So, but I think this one is based off of the 1989 Batmobile. But either way, really fun to grab these, and I'll give these a build at some point here, maybe the next day or so. Okay, so after we left the disappointing Comic-Con, we did go ahead and go to Target, and I bought a couple of things, nothing too big, like a little snack or something. But at the checkout line, I realized they had the Lego Marvel Superheroes Series 2 minifigure packs. So went ahead and picked one up, and sure enough, I got the Moon Knight figure. So really, really cool to get this. This is one of the figures that I was hoping I would pick up, just because it looks so cool. I mean, the molded helmet, I think, is really neat. The crescent kind of like boomerang thing, and the scarab little piece there I think is really cool. And just the amount of detail, like I can't really zoom in too well on this, but you can see there's actual like leg side printing, which I think is insane. The legs are dual molded, so it's, sorry, I almost dropped that. Just a really good looking minifigure. I mean, this is just extremely detailed. Even has a double-sided face there. So, yeah, I can't really ask for more from this. I just wish we got the same level of detail in this that we do with our Star Wars characters, but that's a whole other story, so I won't go into detail on that. Sticking with the theme of LEGO Marvel Superheroes for a second, I did go ahead and pick this up a while ago. This was kind of an instinctual purchase, and that is a 6-pack of the Marvel superhero boxes here. So, yeah, I don't want to sit here. This video is already going to be long enough as it is. I don't want to sit here and open up all these, but I'm hoping that I don't get any duplicates in here, and that hopefully they're not the ones I already grabbed. Last week I did pick up another Lego Marvel minifigure box, and I did get She-Hulk. So I have 2 out of the 12 that I need. So hopefully we'll get another 8 unique ones here, and I can add those to the collection. I really like the selection of figures this time around. I think it's a really cool selection, so hopefully we'll find the ones we need for that. All right. Getting into some more purchases here. Grab some other stuff here. I think some of this was from, so a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, the sale's not going on right now, or maybe it is in the future, wherever you're at in the future. But at the time of these purchases, Target was doing this sale, spend $50, get a $10 gift card for select Lego sets. So naturally that meant that I had to go out and chain buy a bunch of sets and get the $10 gift cards and use it towards the next purchase of the $10 gift card, and rinse and repeat the process. So I ended up picking up some stuff here. So I got another one of the Ahsoka Clone Trooper battle packs. This is the second one I have. Recently just built the one that I bought first, which really enjoyed it. These minifigures are just super detailed and really enjoy that. So went ahead and picked that one up. Let's see some other things here. Another one I picked up through the Target sale was another one of the 501st Clone Trooper battle pack with the specialist clones. I just realized I had one of these already sitting in my closet that I haven't built yet, so I have to get on this. But from an investment standpoint, I'm actually looking at purchasing a couple more of these. I don't think these 2 are going to retire anytime soon, but I do want to pick up some more Stormtrooper battle packs, just because I know they're on sale now, and I just want to get a couple just to kind of keep as a investment piece. You know, I definitely think these ones too, I definitely want to grab some more of these while they're on sale too. But I mean, these are, I'm sure that these 2, especially the Ahsoka one, are going to do really good in retirement. I think these are going to just skyrocket in price just because of the characters. I mean, you literally have 4 straight identical characters aside from that one little patch that's on Vaughn's chest there. But yeah, I'm just really happy that they're on sale, because like $16 is a lot easier to swallow than $20 a pop. So that is what it is. But yeah. All right, next thing I got here, strictly for the minifigure, was this Hulk mech armor. So I gotta say, a couple of hauls ago, maybe the last one, I did show that I got the Thanos mech, which I think is somewhere on these shelves around me. I built that one recently, and it is such a basic build to the point where it's actually pretty insulting that they're charging more money for these, to be honest. It's less pieces, at least it feels like less pieces in my mind, and the builds are just really bad. The legs don't really articulate that much anymore. Before you were able to bend the joint like with like where the leg is, like the knee joint. You're able to bend that, but for some reason they took that mobility away from the mechs here, and I think it really hampers the product. Again, the only reason why I bought this was for the minifigure. I may just build this mech one time and just scrap it for parts. I don't really have much interest in keeping this set in my collection. It's not like I'm going to display it or anything, but again, like I said, I'm just going to kind of build it for the parts. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I actually am going to completely pass on the Rocket mech, just because I think that minifigure is just a recycle of like an older minifigure, which I already own. So I don't see any need to go out and spend another $15 on a mech that is bad. So there's that. But yeah. All right, so some other sets here that I bought here. These next two I bought, again, strictly for investment purposes. I know that's weird to say, like, it's nuts, because, like, at this point, I'm now buying just sets for investment, like, because I realize I can't really build and display everything anymore, nor do I really want to. I mean, there's just some sets that just don't make sense to display. Like, again, like, I'm not gonna display this set, like, why would I do that, right? But these two sets I bought as investment pieces just because I'm not a big fan of this series or whatever, but I'm sure somebody is going to pay a nice price for this at some point once this set retires, and that is the Fast and Furious 1970 Dodge Charger RT. So when these came out, I think these came out last year, and I waited a long time for them to go on sale. This has the Vin Diesel minifigure, and if you were to ask me what his character is in Fast and Furious, I couldn't tell you because I don't watch those movies. But yeah, went ahead and picked this up. Again, like I said, just for the investment piece. Again, this is a licensed, like, Speed Champion set, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, wanted to grab this just because, again, like I said, I'm sure at some point down the line, I can flip this for like 50, 60 bucks and probably make a good sized profit off of this. But for right now, I'm just going to hold on to it and save it for a rainy day if I need it for anything there. Next one here I got, and unfortunately the thing with some of these Target sets is that the boxes are pretty banged up, so they're not in pristine condition, but they are still sealed, so they'll still fetch a pretty good price once they retire. The next one here is the Aston Martin DB5. And this one is obviously based off of the 007 movies, you know, James Bond. This has the James Bond minifigure. So again, another set that came out in tandem with this one that I feel like will do pretty well in retirement, and hopefully I can sell this at some point. But yeah, I mean, aside from this, though, these are really nice cars. I just don't really have much of an attachment to them. But when they were 20% off, I decided to jump on them and got these for $16 each, which I thought was a pretty good price for these Speed Champion sets. It's really funny because I look back on some of the sets I bought once I got back into Lego, and it's really insane some of the sets I bought. Like, I bought like so many Speed Champion sets that I just don't have any interest in anymore, and probably are going to tear all of them down at some point into parts. But yeah, that's just the evolution you go through, I guess, as a collector sometimes. All right, next set I bought here was a Marvel set that I, again, waited for a price decrease to happen because I wasn't paying $25 for this set. Or maybe it was 30, I can't remember. But anyway, I got it for 20, I think. And that is a Miles Morales versus Morbius, Morbid Time, set here. So really the big pull for me with this set is Morbius. So I'm tempted to keep this sealed, but I may open it just to keep the minifigure separate and scrap the car. You know, the car really doesn't have much to be desired there. I don't know if this is a new updated minifigure for Miles. It might have slightly different printing on like the face or so, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it's probably not. So, but it's funny, when this set first came out, I remember people making memes of like, when did Miles Morales get a driver's license? Like, why is he driving a car? And I think, like I said before, I think it's funny how like all these Star Wars or these Spider-Man sets have like characters driving cars. Like Spider-Man's driving a car or a Jeep or flying an airplane or a helicopter. And I'm like, why is he doing this? He is Spider-Man. He doesn't need a car. And there's a whole comic story arc about this whole thing as well. So, you know, it is what it is. Okay. Some other stuff I picked up here that I probably do intend to display just because they're pretty cool sets are the buildable characters here, the construction figures, if you will. First one here we have is for Wolverine. This is, I guess, in anticipation of the X-Men 97 show, which I don't believe has come to Disney Plus yet. If it has, I am behind. But fun fact, I am like about a quarter of the way through season, maybe I'm like halfway through season 3 of the X-Men animated series from like the 90s. So I'm planning to finish watch that. Currently I am like right in between like the Phoenix and Dark Phoenix saga of the animated series, which I think they're doing pretty flawlessly, to be honest. Better than anything live action has ever done. But yeah, this has that same kind of color scheme that we see in that show. You know, obviously this is a very classic look for Wolverine anyway, but really, really cool to get this. I definitely intend to display this next to my Wolverine stuff. And hopefully at some point, once it goes on sale, I can grab the Wolverine Adamantium Claw set there. Probably end up displaying that some other way, but yeah, really, really fun. Really hoping to get that one as well at some point. Next one that we picked up here was the Batman construction figure. So, yeah, this one might look the best out of all the construction figures we've gotten so far. Like, we've gotten Iron Man. I mean, the Venom one is pretty good, I will say that. We've got Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Ant-Man, you know, Wolverine, Captain America. That's another one I still gotta get at some point. But yeah, this one just looks the best, I think, just because it's that all black outfit there, costume. So I think it really stands out, and it definitely hides like some of like the weird features that go with like, you know, that go into some of this stuff with the construction figures. Like some of the parts kind of stand out a little bit more for like a character such as Wolverine compared to Batman. So I'm really excited to build this. I think the look is pretty good. Like, I think they got the ears pretty well. They look a little small from some angles, but I think from this angle here, it looks really nice. So I'm really looking forward to building this and displaying it with my Batman stuff, which is right behind me. So yeah, really need to get that. I really hope that Lego still keeps making these. I just don't understand the price hike with some of them. Like, it's funny, like Iron Man came out of the gate at like $40, and then it was pretty quickly after discounted. I ended up picking it up for like a lot cheaper than that. And then they did price, like, they put the prices for like Venom and Spider-Man and Miles Morales at like $30, and then they ended up getting discounted. Like, you can go online right now and find like Miles, Venom, and Spider-Man construction figures for like $20. So like they're discounted 33%. And for some reason, I guess Lego just didn't take the hint, and now these ones are $32.99. I don't understand like the weird pricing for some of these sets. Like some of the Batman sets are like $47.99. I'm like, why not just make it $50 or $45? Like, why $47.99? I mean, it's just it's I just don't know like who generates the pricing for this. Like, if you have like a $30 price point, just build the character to a $30 price point. But yeah, I don't know. So that's just weird to me that they end up increasing the price when, like, I'm sure that in a couple months you're gonna find them for a cheaper price somewhere. Like, they're gonna be down to like $23.99 or something like that. So whatever, they obviously don't listen to their consumers sometimes, so that's what it is. But okay, Next set, again, I bought here is, again, another investment set, but this one, for good reason, just because I actually own both of these sets, and I've built both of these sets, and I just don't see a need to, um, you know, pick them up. But last couple of years, as you guys might be aware, I've talked about on this podcast, Walmart does do these, excuse me, these Lego like gift bundle sets, right? So like they'll usually bundle a bunch of underperforming sets together, or sets that are close to retirement together, or sets that they have overstock of together into like a larger set, and they'll usually put it out like usually around this time of year, and that's usually what I check to look for on Walmart.com, because I guess Walmart is like the only place that really gets this distribution of some of these sets. So I was looking for that, and sure enough, I did find one of those, and that is the Lego Star Wars 2-in-1 Hoth Battle gift set. So this collects I feel like I'm talking about like comics again. This has the Hoth AT-ST as well as the Stormtrooper Battle Pack. This originally retails for $70, but obviously I didn't pay that for this. I paid $45 for this, which again is an insane deal for this. I mean, that's a really good percentage off. I mean, for somebody who hasn't picked up either of these sets yet, I would definitely recommend grabbing this. And as I always do with my sales pitch, if you're looking to buy someone who loves Lego Star Wars something for Christmas, this is a really good option. $45 gets you two nice buildable sets here. And for me, for someone like myself who already owns them, I'm going to keep this sealed, and I'm sure this will go up in price. This has some pretty good minifigures in here. That Chewbacca minifigure that's on the end here, I don't think we're going to see for a really long time, so that might drive this setup a little bit in secondary market value, but yeah, just bought that one for investment. I mean, that's pretty much what I've done for all of those other gift sets. I've already owned all the separate sets in them, so I just buy the gift set to keep sealed. And now at this point, I am accumulating a pretty good log of sealed sets. I might have to start selling some just so I can clear out some space to, fund the hobby. How people say like the hobby should fund itself. So I might have to do that just so I can, continue to purchase and invest in other stuff. So there's that. But last that I bought here, I bought this at Costco. Went to Costco last Friday with my family. We're just chilling around, and obviously someone like myself who keeps a really sharp eye on Lego deals, I was aware of the Costco sales, so I did go to Costco to look for some Lego, and I ended up walking away with the Lego 75348 Mandalorian Fang Fighter versus TIE Interceptor. Yeah, so this set originally retailed for $100. Didn't want to spend $100 for it, obviously, so went to Costco and spent $80, which I think is a pretty good deal for this. Comes with a bunch of really good minifigures. We have the new Mandalorian figure with the Darksaber there. TIE pilot. We get a Mandalorian fleet commander, as well as an R2 unit. So not the most stellar lineup of minifigures for this one, unfortunately. But I have heard a lot of good things about this TIE fighter, this TIE Interceptor build. So I really want to build this for my collection. I do have a nice little Imperial display area in my collection here with the TIE Bomber, the Imperial Shuttle, the Probe Droid, the AT-ST. So I'm just trying to kind of have all those in one place. But yeah, really, really hyped to get this for a decent price, and excited to build this at some point too. So for anyone who's not familiar, this is from the 3rd season of Mandalorian. So if you haven't seen that, I would definitely recommend going back and watching that. But yeah, really, really fun to have this. It'll be really nice once I get, because I do have some TIE fighters from the 2021 wave of sets. So my plan was to probably display my TIE Bomber, Interceptor, and TIE Fighter all together. So like just have like that whole fleet of different TIE like fighters together. So maybe I'll have to do some reconfiguring there to do that. But yeah, I can't believe this haul was this Lego haul was just as long as my comics. Maybe a little bit shorter, but yeah, there's all my Lego. So I'm gonna go put all this stuff away here shortly. But let's go ahead and get into the outro for this video. All right, guys. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing for more of this content. As I mentioned before, I do try to post these usually every week, but as I said before, sometimes with my purchasing habits, sometimes it gets pushed back a couple weeks. So, but in the meantime, if you're curious, you can actually go back and watch all the other videos that I made of these hauls on my channel. I have 148 of them now, so if you're interested in that, definitely check those out. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed all this stuff. I certainly did, and I am not looking forward to finding a place for all these books, so we'll see if I can do that. But otherwise, guys, I will see you next time, and stay safe, and until next time, I will see you on the flip side.